What I like best about Mr. Marmara's class is he's typically like the fun teacher. He's probably the funnest teacher in 8th grade because he has that kind of spirit that he tries to connect to all of us.
We utilize a flipped classroom model, so all of our basic introductory information is pre-recorded in flip note lessons. The benefit that we've seen there is that the students can kind of work at their own pace, so they can pause, they can rewind. That typically lets them feel a little more comfortable with that information as opposed to a typical lecture style. By doing that, that saves us a bunch of time in class, so we're able to do a lot more hands-on lessons.
What we were trying to do is trying to make science something that kids could look forward to every day. What fun stuff are we going to be doing in science today? Basically the kids have finished their notes on water monitoring. They know now what the different vocabulary terms are when we try to measure the quality of water. They know what pH is. They should know what turbidity is. They should know what pollution is. So now that they have that knowledge in their head and they know what we're talking about, when they come in, they're actually doing a lab today where we brought in different water samples and they're testing for levels of nitrates and pH and turbidity.
What is water monitoring? It's the process of using scientific methods to analyze the quality and quantity of the water in a local water system. In other words, what we're saying here is how much water is in an area and how good is that water. So the first thing that we want to talk about when we talk about water quality and having pure, clean drinking water is we talk about something called pollution. We definitely want to limit the amount of pollution that goes into our water sources. The first is called point source pollution. And basically what that is talking about are sources of pollution that you can easily identify. So we say point source pollution. Think of it as being able to point at a source and say, that is where water pollution is coming from. So some examples of point source pollution would be like Mr. Jones's farm is leaking pesticides into the creek, which is causing the water to be poisonous. So you can point to where that leak is, and you can say that is a source of pollution. The other type of pollution is called non-point source pollution. So this is something that you can't point at. So some good examples of that would be like the cars, all the traffic in Waxhaw and Monroe and Charlotte is putting a lot of gases into the atmosphere that rain down into our rivers and lakes and are poisoning our streams and whatnot. So it isn't one particular car that you can point at, it's all of the cars. So when we measure the quality of our water and water pollution, the things that we talk about are DO, or dissolved oxygen, pH, which is a measure of how alkaline or acidic the water is, turbidity, which is a measure of how clear or how cloudy the water is, and then the NO, which is the amount of nitrates in the water. So these are things that we measure for if we're trying to see if our water is healthy.
I passed around our menu for today. I hope you came hungry.
Yeah, because college films, that's so good. And Andy's aquarium.
All right.
It's delightful.
So we're going to write down the letter for the type of water that you want to test. So you're going to dip in water sample for 30 seconds. Let it dry off. Take a look at it. Compare it to that key for each of the boxes. At the end, there's like a big blank space where you can hold on to it. That's what they're talking about. So they're showing that to you so you can hold it up in the correct direction. Okay? Make sense? Because if you're doing it upside down, you're going to be real confused and puzzled. Okay? So lots of empty plastic at the bottom for you to hold on to. When it's in your test tube, if you hold it up to the computer, okay, and you can see every single bit of information that's on your screen, oh, I can read every single word, that would be like a 0 on the scale. There is no light being blocked whatsoever. Like that, right? You can see right through it. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Something, though, that you hold it up and it kind of makes it foggy. It's kind of in between. You can see some light passing through, but it's not very clear. If it's completely dark and you can't read through it,
Oh. Ew.
that'd be like a 9 or a 10 right there. I'd say this is 9.
Dude, you just smell
If I hold this up, I can see some light passing through. I'll show you a 10. Ready? All right. This would be like a pretty strong 8, I would say.
Is that the pond stuff?
No, this is what would probably be in a pond around here, because you got a clay, silty bottom with fresh water. But a lot of times what we go swimming in lakes, right?
Well, I meant where'd you get that? I meant which one is that?
That will be a 10.
Yeah.
Mountain water for you, sir. Right out of the hills of North Carolina.
This has issues.
This is our parking lot runoff.
We've seen a great deal of participation, which we're thankful for, but you know, they work through it. We're really proud of the kids because they look forward to doing the labs in class, and we see a lot of progress in their knowledge based on those labs.